simplistic as this sounds and fluffy as it sounds, it's about finding what your passion is. Now, I believe this so much, I had it tattooed across my chest. You have to do what you love and love what you do. Even if you can't think of something that you love right now, at least find what it is that you love in what you're doing. Because when you do that, here's the difference. Here was me 2 years ago. I was working incredibly hard at things I wasn't necessarily enjoying. The result was extraordinary stress. The difference between then and now is today, and for the last year, I work extraordinarily hard at things that I love. The result being extraordinary passion. And that for me is the difference. When you stop trying to do everything and you focus on the thing that gives you everything back, you have this insane amounts of energy, right? You look at the Gary V's, the Grant Cardones, the Tony Robbins's, whoever is doing them out in the world. Ask them if they have a day off or want a day off. No. So the reason why they don't want a day off is because they absolutely love what they do. Now, here's the thing. I've said for years, do what you love what you do. And people misunderstand that. Most people misunderstand that. They think there's either love what you do and be happy and spiritual and not worry about life, or there's hustle. No, it's put the two together. Even if you love what you do, you still have to do the work. It doesn't matter whether you are in the public sector, you are a politician, you are the Pope, you are a pupil at school. There's always work to do. No one just shows up and says, "Oh, I'll just love what I do."
Yeah. Right. but I think that's really interesting. That's something I talk about with quite a few guests, and so in general that you say, I don't know how to use a camera, I only know what I like. And I think far too often people think, well, I don't want to follow that road because I like it but nobody else does. But in today's world, particularly the world of internet, the world of social media, that you've got access to the entire world, and there are some other people out there. So there's going to be. You may think you're the only one in that niche, but there will be. I'm not saying there's enough people to make you hundreds of millions of pounds, but there's always enough people in whatever niche you're in to get 1,000 fans, 10,000 fans, 50,000 fans, customers, call them what you want in that. I think it's important that people don't let that put them off.
Yes.
Off wanting to go forward. Back with the theme of trying many things. Try it, see how many people out there do like those funny pictures you want to take.
Yeah, all those funny. And I think the biggest thing, actually, going back to tips, is once you find that passion, and this for me is one, we've kind of touched upon it, is commit. I think you have to commit wholeheartedly to whatever it is you find then is your passion, and you have to just go for it. And there's going to be times where it gets tough, and that's like, the photography thing for me, it's not enough of a passion, but sometimes I pick it up. And if it really was, I could stick through the hard times of it, which there's inevitably going to be. If it's writing, there's going to be times when you're banging your head against the wall, or, acting, you're mainly going to just be doing that. But you just really, I think, commit to something, which is a slogan for a gym.
Commit to something.
Commit to something.
Presumably the gym. Yeah.
Do the gym.
Commit to the exercise.
Commit to the exercise, yeah. But I think that's important. And whether it is you're going to try a few things, you just have to commit to them and see it through.
I can talk about people I really admire. So one person I really admire, I think is incredible. And when you're an agent manager, it's always very dangerous to name one client over another client, because that's the one way to lose clients, by showing favoritism. But I think this person is so great and so special, I can mention her name without my other clients being offended, because most of them will agree with me. And that's Dame Joan Collins. Dame Joan Collins, a dame of the British Empire, in her late 80s, she's still working every day. She's still acting in films. She's still doing live shows. She's writing books. I don't know what juice she's got, but I hope I have it when I'm in my mid-80s, because this lady is completely phenomenal. And every time I speak with her, I'm inspired by her, because her mind is sharp, it's fresh, it's on it. When I've met Rupert Murdoch a few times, I mean, in his 90s now, he's extraordinary. At the age he is, with grandchildren, you'd have thought he'd want to go and sit on a ranch and enjoy his final years, but he's still working every day and zapping all over the world. And look at Elton John, doing live shows all over the world. He's doing Hyde Park next year. He writes West End theatre shows. He writes Hollywood movie musicals. He works with young artists who are just starting out. I mean, and yet, why have that challenge? He personally loves it. So I think what excites me is people's energy and dynamism. I want to work with people who, I'm in my, if you like, I call my mat room. It's a bit like my mission control. Imagine you're at, the White House room where it all happens. That's this room here. It's the global map behind me. The global map is because I look at the world as a small place. I'll fly anywhere for a meeting. Some people walk into this room and then energy, enthusiasm leads the room because they have that kind of demeanor. Some people walk in the room and with them becomes energy, positivity, enthusiasm, because they lighten up a room. And I think if you're going to be a talent that's going to spread around the world, you've got a much greater chance if you bring with you positivity and warmth and a great smile.
I think that the key from the people you mentioned there, even though it's different disciplines, like Elton John and Rupert Murdoch, I mean, you couldn't be in more different lanes. But I guess, what's keeping them going at that age and why they're not sitting on a raft somewhere is the true love of what they do. I guess that, for me, that's integral in whatever it is you want to do, whether you're singing, dancing, running a business, designing clothes. You've got to fundamentally love what you do, so you want to be doing it 60, 70 years down the line, whether or not the money and the adorations come with it.
I don't think people who are really successful in the long run follow ideas because of the money it's going to make. They might in business, but in creativity you follow the idea and the love of the opportunity. And if you do well, it'll probably be lucrative. But if your starting point is, will this role make me money? It's probably the wrong role to do it. If you do it for those reasons, you probably won't make money. So I think always take the creative opportunity, follow your creative passion for the belief that you love doing it, and then success will follow.
Well, I think it's about being realistic and relative to your circumstances. Okay, yes, it might be. People might look at this and say, "Oh, it's easy for Matt to say that he's rented a villa in Ibiza for 2 weeks and doing all these things." But I didn't do this 5 years ago. I certainly didn't do this 15 years ago.
Yeah.
It's about picking the targets that are right for you now. I mean, we had a conversation a couple of days ago when we were talking about networking, and we're saying, how do you get in front of the people that you want to get in front of? And the honest answer is you may not be able to get in front of the people that you really want to get in front of now because you're not ready for it. Your business isn't ready for it. You've not got enough value to give to that person. And I think this is probably a variant on that conversation in that you've kind of got to work your way up the giving ladder, and you've only got whatever limited resource you've got, whether it's time, money, whatever that may be, and you can only make the investments now that you can make, and so maybe therefore that means it's not possible for you to get from here to here. You have to go from here to here to here to here to here, and I'm sure. Well, I'd like to think that in 5 years' time, some of the experiences I'm creating that you'll be alongside with me for will make 2 weeks in a villa in Ibiza look like chicken feed. And when we're having that conversation back then and we're talking about whatever great things we're talking about, I'll be saying, well, look, I can do this now, but I wasn't doing that 5 years ago, and I certainly wasn't doing it 10 or 15 or 20 years before. I think it's just starting, getting your mindset right that you are going to invest, that you are going to give before you receive, and just start doing it.
And just find any way that you can do it. One great way in which you can follow Matt in his free stuff is on his social media. He does a lot of great videos, little segments, longer interviews, tips, tools, strategies. I mean, you've only just started social media in the last year?
Probably
year and a half.
Probably, yeah. It'll be coming on to 2 years in October now. I think I really started putting videos
And
out
you do
there.
Q&As, you take questions, you answer them, you bring on people sometimes on social
Yeah.
media. You do live interviews, podcasts, like you said.
I think as well the thing is, for me, and I think this is my advice to anyone who's going to start, doing anything like social media, podcast, anything like that. You've got to do what you genuinely enjoy, and you can't force it, because you're going to end up giving up and not putting the longevity in that it needs. And just made me think then when you talked about me doing Q&As and things, and I don't say it for effective people listening. I genuinely love those Q&As. I do. Listen, sometimes I'm tired and I don't always enjoy making videos or recording content. In the same way we don't always enjoy doing anything in life. But I guess for me it's easier to fight through that when I'm doing things that I do genuinely enjoy. And I love hearing people's problems and trying to provide solutions. I love hearing people's business issues and trying to apply solutions from my own space. So I guess my advice is that if you're going to do something, you need to be committed to the long term, because 2 years on, with all the investment that I've put into this social media game, I'm still a microscopic speck on a microscopic speck, and it would have been very easy for me to give up at any point. And if I was doing podcasts about animals or about whatever it is, it's something that I'm not passionate about, I would have given up long ago, and I would never have got to the end. And I guess that kind of fits in with this conversation of doing things for free, because you've just got to do what you love in a framework that you think ultimately is going to make some financial success and ultimately is going to provide the ROI. But I can't guarantee when it's going to be for you, just in the same way I can't guarantee what it's going to be for me. What I can guarantee is the more you push it, the further away it will become. I love the lending business because whilst lending's lending, I still don't know what the business is that's going to ring me tomorrow, and it's always a different business, a different quirk, a different reason why somebody's in that problem or got that opportunity, that we get the chance to solve.
Yeah, it's a very rare thing for me to find people who understand that sort of laser focus, but also the permission that it allows to have diverse strands underneath it. It all unites to create an ever more powerful laser-focused brand, but it obviously has strands and roots underneath it, and very few people understand that. So, thank you. It's been great therapy for me talking to you.
That's what I'm here for. Tell me, you said something a minute ago as well about your father's advice, not to chase the money, but to chase something you love, and the money will come. Some people will say, do what you love and the money will come. Other people say, well, you need to pick something that is going to be profitable, and if you make enough money, you'll grow to love it. For me, there is a balance in there, because there's so many things that you can love that ultimately you're naive if you ever think you're going to make any money out of them. And I've done that. I have businesses that I'm involved in that I love them, but they don't make any money. And some of those I've probably done maybe naively. Others I do for synergistic benefits. But I think it's maybe a bit glib or an over-exaggeration to say, do what you love and the money will come. There's got to be some ultimate commercial focus in there. I mean, what's your view on that?
Yeah, no, I think human beings are complex, right? And there's many ways of getting to a happy and fulfilled life. Some people work to live, and they love what they do in their outside life. They love homeschooling their children, or building a great family life, and the job is the job, and I totally respect that. And other people are complete idealists, and they're going to be, have serial disappointments until they find the idealistic concept that actually maybe by accident starts working. It's just really finding your own path,